What's going on, muscle monsters? Align Gonzalez here, and today I just got a quick video. I want to go over 7 different foods that you can start adding to your daily intake to meet your calorie requirements much easier. So if you're anything like me, then you need a lot of calories to put you in a surplus in order for you to gain weight. Right? And sometimes it gets difficult to even hit the amount of calories you need to put you in that surplus. And what these foods are going to do is make that much easier, either by having a lot of carbs, a lot of protein, or just a lot of calories in general. All right? These are also good for someone who maybe doesn't track their calories but needs to eat a high amount of food in order to gain weight. All right. Now, as you guys know, I always suggest that you do track your intake because that makes it a lot easier when you're more calculated. But I also understand that not everyone is going to track everything they eat. Right. So without further ado, I'm going to get into these high calorie, nutrient dense foods that you can start implementing into your diet to hit your numbers much easier. All right. The first one is one that I personally don't consume, but it's very high in carbs. So one serving, if I'm not mistaken, is probably about 100 grams of carbs. The protein is high, and the fats, are moderate. All right, so the macronutrient intake is fairly good. And the total calories, again, is high, and that's quinoa, right? You can get this pretty much at any local grocery store, and that's going to be one food that you can start implementing to make it much easier for you to hit your calories for the day. Another food, and this is my personal favorite, is pasta, all right? I'll show you the pasta that I get. It's made by Barilla. And the reason I like this pasta is because for 3.5 ounces, you're going to get 67 grams of carbs and 17 grams of protein. All right? Not to mention, 3.5 ounces is a very small portion. I typically will have double that. So in one sitting, just with the pasta alone, I'm getting about 130 grams of carbs and over 30 grams of protein. That's not including whatever meat or sauce I add to this. So you can see how having about 2 servings of this a day or 4 servings throughout 2 sittings can help you reach your carb intake and even your protein intake fairly easily. And not to mention, on top of that, for 3.5 ounces of this, you're getting 7 grams of fiber. All right, so if you're doing 7 ounces like I do, you're getting 14 grams of fiber just from what I would consider to be 1 serving of multigrain pasta. All right. Another great carb source that is actually also micronutrient dense, so it's going to help you get your vitamins and minerals, is dried fruit. All right. I guess I could also say regular fruit, but the reason I like dried fruit is because you can eat it as a snack kind of like throughout the day, and doing it that way is going to allow you to get your fruit intake for the day much easier than having to, in my opinion, sit down and have a banana or sit down and have an apple with your meal. And the dried fruit is, because you're eating it throughout the day, kind of as a snack, you can actually fit more servings of fruit in your day easier and get all those carbs throughout the day as opposed to in one sitting. All right? All right, number 4 is white or brown rice, just rice in general. All right, and 1 serving of rice, you can typically get close to 50 grams of carbs. And if you choose to go the brown rice route, then you're also going to get a nice amount of fiber. But the thing about rice is that when you're consuming rice, you're typically not eating it on its own. So you're also adding either beans, which are also high in fiber and high in carbs. So if you have an additional half a cup to 1 cup of beans to your rice, you're getting close to 100 grams of carbs just in that meal, and that's not even including the protein that you'll add from whatever meat source you decide to throw in the mix, which also is going to increase the volume of the calories. All right, so that's why I think rice is a great source of carbs, but also of just calories in general, and mainly because you never consume just the rice on its own. All right, speaking of carbs, another great source is bagels. All right, I don't care if you're consuming wheat bagels, blueberry, or whatever, it doesn't matter. I have plain bagels, and just to give you an idea, one plain bagel gives you about 50 grams of carbs and 7 grams of protein. All right, if you go the wheat route, it'll be about the same, but you'll probably get more fiber. And again, that doesn't account for whatever you add to the bagel, right? Because typically you just won't eat a plain bagel. All right. And last but not least, peanut butter. All right, or almond butter. It's very dense in essential fatty acids, but mainly you're going to add this for a source of high calorie, right? To hit your total calorie intake in general, right? You're still going to get a moderate amount of protein, and it is high in fat, but with just 2 tablespoons, you're typically going to get about 200 calories added to the day. So you throw that into one of your protein shakes or something like that, then you can see how doing that once or twice a day, it's going to make it much easier to hit your total calorie intake. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button below. If you have any foods that you want to add to this list, leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, download my 12-week Mass in a Flash. It's a novice program, and it's also going to give you a caloric intake for you to follow, and it's completely free. So go to the link down below, put your name and your email address. You'll get instant access to the program. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.